Hi, my name is James Adam Tucker. For the past 35 years, I've been a director, actor, and editor right here in Hollywood. On today's topic, I'd like to talk about what to do when your cast and your crew start to argue on the set. The story I'm about to tell you is something that happened to me, and I didn't do the right thing. I kind of, these days, as I went on with life from that experience and ran into other experiences like I'm about to tell you about, I've learned the value of what they call de-escalation. I was on the set. This was probably in the mid, I guess it was in the mid '90s, and we were doing a very low budget B horror film. We went through all the steps that I have been talking about in these previous videos. Writing of the script, writing around things that we had access to. I even brought in two partners on this, two filmmakers who had always worked with me a lot as cameramen. Brought them in. They came in as producers and also co-camera people. You know, I still shoot, and through my whole career, when I'm directing, I like to grab the camera and shoot. But this time I had two camera people. We had who were also my co-producers. And we went through the whole process, developing the script, polishing the script, casting the actors, doing rehearsals. I'm a big proponent of rehearsing with actors. I'll explain that in some videos down the line. But let me get to the story. We were on the set. We had a great location. One of the actresses, actually one of the lead actresses, had a really nice apartment. And we were going to use that as one of the apartments in the film. So we're in the set, we're setting up everything. I'm over there setting up camera, setting up lights, rehearsing with a couple of the other actors. And all of a sudden I hear this big commotion coming from over near the kitchen area. One of my co-producers was supposed to be making arrangements. I think it was during the reason we arrived there late, it was late in the day and we arrived there late. That's what it was. And we were setting up lunch while I was doing some other rehearsing. So I heard this big commotion going on in the kitchen, and kind of ignored it a little bit, which was number one mistake. Number one mistake. If you're the director and you're so running the show and supposed to be in control of everything and have your hands, you don't ever ignore when you hear trouble brewing. At the very early stages, that is the best time. If you don't get anything else from this video, soon as you hear it, that is the best time to step in and start some type of de-escalation. Now, when I say de-escalation, it's nothing complicated. You can go in, you can step right into a situation between, sometimes you'll have actors arguing, sometimes you'll have crew members arguing. But this time it was a little higher stakes for me because I had one of my co-producers arguing with our lead actress, who was also giving us this great location for today's shoot. So I stepped in to see what was going on, and I could overhear them talking about ordering lunch. And it's something just as simple as that. Something just as simple as that. And as I thought about it over the years, like I said, as soon as I heard that brewing, what I needed to do was step in. And I could have stepped right in, and I could have solved the whole thing by saying, let me take care of lunch. You know, if you want this, I'll buy you this. If you want that, I'll buy you that. And that would have solved the whole problem. But no, James decided to, these are two adults, he decided to stay out of it, which is a big mistake, and let them handle it. And as I realized what it was over, it was so petty that I went back to what I was doing. And I'm working with a couple of actors in the other room, and we're rehearsing some scenes, and also, all of a sudden I hear screaming, an argument out of control. So I went into the kitchen, and I thought I could maybe de-escalate this just by my presence. I walked in, I said, what's going on, guys? And then that was like throwing gas on the fire. And the actress, they both were high maintenance personalities. Both good people, but high maintenance personalities who were they both were used to always getting their way. So what happened was the actress was on the phone, and she was ordering pizzas that were going to be for lunch. And on the phone, she got into an argument with whoever was taking the order for the pizzas. And the producer, my co-producer, heard that. And he tried to talk her off the phone to not get the pizzas because he didn't want to buy food from someone who someone's on the phone, giving them a hard time and not treating them nice at all. She had a kind of attitude, East Coast attitude. So she was used to boom, boom, we want this, we want that, we want this, and you better bring it here, we want it this time. And he didn't like that. So their argument, she's arguing with someone on the phone and she's arguing with him in person, and it just escalated. And me standing there like a deer caught in the headlights when I easily could have de-escalated the situation. And again, I want to talk to you on this channel of mine about things I did good, and it's probably going to be talking to you more about things I did bad, because that's the way I can be more helpful. I always tell young filmmakers when they call me up and ask me for some information, I said, I can give you advice, I can tell you things to do, but more important than that, I can tell you what I did, all the things that I did that didn't work, so that you can avoid those mistakes. And this is one of the things that I didn't step in. And they continued to scream at each other. And what he did, the producer, to really set her off, was he walked over, and this was in the days of landlines, and he hung up her phone. And she just went off. She just went off. I thought they were going to come to blows. But it finally did de-escalate. And with her telling us to get out of her apartment, take all of our crew, take all of our actors, and get out. And she walked, and she says, I'm walking off this film. I'm not working with him. I don't want to be anywhere around him. And, this was probably the sad part, was I still have that film probably more than halfway completed. And I thought over the years that I would, do some fancy rewriting. I always pride myself on being able to write myself out of any situation. But she was the lead character, one of the lead characters. And I never really revisited it to figure out a way if I could salvage that footage. But, recently I came back to mine. I've been loading some of my old projects up onto Film Hub. And that's a project that I was really happy with what we had shot so far, and the performances and the locations and the special effects, but I was never able really to finish it. And a lot of times when I thought about finishing it, I thought about what I did wrong. And, talking to you now, that might have been one of the reasons I never really went back to it, because it was an embarrassing moment for me as a director by letting that situation get out of hand, when I could have easily stepped in the very beginning and de-escalated with humor. I pride myself again in trying to de-escalate things by using a little humor. Sometimes dark humor, sometimes off-color humor, But humor, I find, is a great way to de-escalate problems. And again, I could have stepped into that with money. It wasn't a lot of money, I could have bought 2 separate lunches. There's just so many things that I thought of after the situation has completely went south that I could have done, I should have done. But I always used that as one of my learning lessons as a director. Don't let these little situations get out of hand. I have some more similar things about crew members complaining and things like that, and different ways I handled those situations over the years. But that was a really eye-opening situation for me, where I realized that you've got to take control. And you don't have to be harsh. You don't have to be, Captain Bligh about it. You step in, you find out what's going on, and you come up with a solution, even if it's a temporary solution. Just something to de-escalate it. And don't let arguments between your cast and crew, between your cast members, crew members, don't let it escalate. Get it out in the open, find out what the problem is, and come to a solution. That's a tip that will work in any kind of workplace. No matter where you work. If you work on a construction site, if you work in an office, if you work with, in a hospital setting, de-escalation between coworkers and customers, it's a lifesaver. But someone has to step up and try to find a solution. And that was one of my big problems that I didn't do that day. And I've always felt that, that situation was on me, because I was the director. I was supposed to try to come up with a solution. But I thought, okay, yeah, these are adults, and they're gonna handle it. They can calm down. But that's wrong. You don't let things get out of hand. So that's just a quick little video about how to deal with problems on the set. Don't look the other way. Don't wish it away. Make something happen. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.